What is going on with the Fargo real estate market? It's been up and it's been down, it's been fast and it's been slow, and it seems to be moving really quick. Then it changes quick and then it's super slow and it just keeps going back and forth. But where are we actually at right now here in Fargo? You're in the right place, because in this video I'm breaking down all the market stats for where Fargo is at right now in the real estate market. You'll see, are there buyers actually looking? How is the selling process going? Are people actually getting showings? Are they selling their homes quickly, and how quickly, and for how much money? I'll answer a lot of these questions and more in this video. And I'm Sykora, your Fargo real estate agent. And if you haven't been to the channel before, I make a lot of videos giving people information on the real estate market here, tips for moving and selling here. And if you're considering buying or selling a home here in Fargo, North Dakota within the next 30, 60, 90, or even the next year, you can reach out to me through all my contact information in the description below and check out some of my free guides. I have a buyer's guide, seller's guide, relocation guide. Every guide you need, they can find all down in the description below this video. So now let's jump right into some market stats for what Fargo, North Dakota is doing right now. First up, as with most of my market videos, we're going to look at months of inventory. And as you know, this doesn't tell the whole story. It just shows how many houses are on the market right now. But as we can see, if we can look, it's at 3.68 right now. It's up 10% from last month and it's up 6% from the last 12 months. This number is higher right now significantly when we compare it to last May. And we can compare it to May in 2023. It's been on this upward trend. Obviously, it's had ups and downs, but it's way up higher, up to 3, almost 4, when it was, in the 3s last year. This is showing that there's more sellers right now than buyers. Now, this is something we haven't really seen that often, especially here in Fargo with such a low inventory market, is that there's more sellers than buyers. So it's giving buyers a little bit more opportunity, a little bit more wiggle room compared to earlier when it was, 5, 6, 7, 8 offers on houses, which if you saw my market video for the month of May, that's where we were at with the real estate market. But it switched so quickly to right now where, maybe you'll get 1 or 2 offers. For hot properties, of course, there'll be multiple offers, but there's more sellers in the marketplace and the houses are sitting on the market. So it's bringing a lot more opportunity to buyers, and we'll see that as we go look in the numbers later on in this video of what buyers and sellers are actually doing. But we can see there's a lot more houses on the market right now here in Fargo than there really is in a long time. So we can go to the next graph, which shows the number of active listings. So we got 416, up about 10% from last month. And again, we can see ever since March 21, look how low these kind of humps have been, of course, for the seasonality of the market. We can see they don't really even touch above 400. But then we look to this year, it's above 400. So there's a lot more houses on the market right now and a lot more active listings. So of course, you got to think of this 2 ways too. If someone's selling a house, other than if it's an investor, they're likely going to be buying a house too. So it brings more buyers in the market, but also there's just a lot more inventory that this Fargo-Moorhead real estate market is not used to. So we can see that through here of looking how high this number is, above 400, was above 400 in 2024 too. It's a little bit slower right now than it was the spring a couple months ago. Now, obviously for reasons, you got to think, okay, it's finally summertime, school's out. Yes, there's gonna be people moving because they wanna get into something before the end of the school year. And there's other people who maybe they wanna go down to Arizona, so they're gonna try to get into something before the end of summer. But it's also, a lot of people are going on vacations right now. A lot of people are going out to the lake on the weekends, or they don't wanna move, or they just wanna enjoy the summer, so they're not worried about moving as much. Then the houses that are on the market, they're gonna sit a little bit longer. There's not gonna be as many showings, because people are doing stuff because it's actually finally nice out and it's finally summer here in Fargo. So it's just something to consider. The market shifts quick. 3 weeks ago, it was the opposite. Everything was selling super quick. Now, it's a little bit slower. Certain properties and certain price points are still selling really quick, but others are just sitting there. That's why it's important to always keep up with the market and what the market's doing, and to have someone that knows how to market your home correctly to make sure you can sell it for the best dollar possible. If it's a buyer's market, if it's a seller's market, if it shifts halfway through, you need to be able to adapt to that. So we can look at the next graph, which is the new listings coming on the market. So 193 new listings came on the market. So even though there was less listings that came on the market, the total listings on the market went up. So this is, like I said before, there's less buyers right now because of this. So even though not as many new listings came on as last month, there's still more total listings. So what does that say? There's not as many listings being sold. So we can see the pending listings, it stayed pretty similar to where it was, but those last two numbers we saw, the new listings and the active listings, is important, which this is what made that months of inventory shift up, is because there's more active properties on the market compared to the number of buyers on the market in relative to that months of inventory. So again, summary, active listings are up, the new listings are down, so there's more sellers in the market than there is buyers right now. So we can look at the sold listings too, we're up 35%. And again, you always got to think these are a month behind with the sold and the pendings, because if you get pending on a property, usually it takes 30 to 45 days to close. So if you remember the market update from last month, or we can even just look back at the graph, the new pending listings was up a ton from right around 100 way up to over 100, almost 150. So obviously the new pending listings and the closed listings are going to go up because all those pendings are now going to close. But if you look at where we're at right now, I bet you next month when I make my next market video, this number is going to kind of plateau a little bit, because like I said before, if we look back at the other graphs, it is having more sellers in the market right now than really active buyers. Now, of course, there's always going to be active buyers in the market, but it's just a little bit slower than it was a couple months ago. Now, if you're considering selling or buying a home in this real estate market and you want to know how you can take advantage of the buyers that are in the market if you are selling, or if you can take advantage as a buyer looking to get into a home, you can reach out to me through the contact information in the description below. I'll help you out to make sure you know exactly what you're doing in this market and how you can take advantage, whether you're buying a home, selling a home, or both. So we can look at this graph too. This is the median list price for those new listings that are coming on the market. It's staying right around, this is kind of the average price point here in Fargo, is around 350, down a little bit. This number, it really doesn't tell us a lot because, being in a relatively smaller market, if you have one or two, $2 or $3 million houses that come on the market, this is going to fluctuate that number a lot. But we can look at the median right around that average price point around 350,000. Then we can look at this next graph. This is the total volume of new pending listings. Again, this is just showing the numbers of how many of those properties are pending. We saw it was up a couple graphs ago. We saw it was kind of the same, up 1.5%. Again, same thing with the price point. If one or two really expensive houses sell, or we have a lot of little lower price houses sell, this is what fluctuates that number. So not really something that I look at or something I'm concerned about. Just another good thing to note, we're at about 49 million right now for that total number of volume that is pending right now here in Fargo. And we can see the active listings. This is another important number to make sure for those people who do have to buy and sell a house at the same time, to make sure you match those dates up, because 48 median days on market. So, okay, if you're going to sell your home, put it on the market, 40, 50, 60 days by the time it's going to close and become pending, or, that sort of thing, to match up when you have to buy and sell a home at the same time. Because that's a really stressful process that if it's not done right, you could end up being homeless or not having a house to live in, or paying 2 mortgage payments. And that's obviously not a good thing, something you do not want to deal with. So this is really important to make sure those dates match up. 48 median days on market. Again, we can see this is where the seasonality of the market really strikes. When a couple months ago during, January, December, it was up over 100, almost 120 days on market. But now it's down to 40 to almost 50, almost a 50% cut in that. We saw that the last couple months with some huge drops, especially from, pretty sure that was January to February, March, April, whatever month it was. Look at this huge drop right here, where it dropped from just about 120 days to almost 60 days. Huge drop, seasonality in the market. Like we said before, the spring market popped. Now it's slowing down a little bit. It's still busy, not as busy as the winter, but it's slowed down significantly since that early spring season we saw earlier. Then we can look again at the total volume of new listings, 76 million, down 12%. This just reflects back to that other graph we saw in the beginning. The number of new listings is down, but the number of total listings is up, showing there's more sellers in the market right now than there was before, and less buyers that are actively looking and putting in offers on homes. So now we're going to hop into a little bit of the information and what I'm seeing on showings right now. Because obviously when you put your home on the market, how you sell it is through showings, through open houses, that sort of thing. You need to know how many people are going to be looking at houses and how many times it's going to take those people to look at a house before they buy it. So that's what these next couple graphs are going to be showing. Focus mainly on people who are selling their home. So this can be a really good information for that. But it's also really good for buyers to know what is your competition looking like when you're buying houses here in Fargo. So we can look first. This is the number of showings to get a house under contract. So we can see in May, it was about 9, almost 10 showings to get a house under contract from when it's listed. So of course, next we're going to look at another graph that's really important, which is the average number of showings on a listing per month. So we can look at this, 4.2. So we got to think, okay, 4.2, 2 months of showings, maybe 3 months of showings to get a house under contract, which reflects that average days on market of 50 days, which is around, 2 months. So it's going to take that time to sell your home before it goes pending when there's not as many people looking at homes. 9.9 showings to contract. Obviously, this number fluctuates a lot depending on what type of house you have, depending on the market for that house, and depending on the style of your house. But you got to look at it as an average overall. Okay, maybe we need to go a little bit more aggressive with our marketing. Maybe we need to do some things differently to make sure our house stands out compared to the neighbor's house that listed for sale. Things like this to make sure your house is listed properly, to make sure you sell it for the best price possible. Shows you where we're at here in Fargo. Again, 4.2 showings per listing in the month of May, with about 10 showings to get a house under contract. Now next, this is another really important number for people selling to know how much money you're getting, because we can see it's 99.15% for the list to sold percentage. Easiest way to explain this, house is listed at $100,000, you'll get $99,150 when you sell that home on average. Of course, this is another number. It depends on your price range, depends on your location, depends on the type of house. A lot of houses, they still will go multiple offers, but a lot of them aren't. This number stayed pretty much the same from last month, as we can see here. But again, this also shows what are you to get when selling your home. You need to make sure you price it right. Because if you don't price your home right, you let it sit on the market for 3 months, then you have to do a big price drop back to the normal market value. I guarantee you, when people write offers on your house, they are not coming in at full price. So you need to make sure you put it on the market correctly to try to get this number as close to 99, over 100 if possible, when selling your home, so you can take advantage of the buyers that are in the market if you position your home correctly. So if you want to learn how you can position your home correctly to make sure you take advantage of the seller, make it the obvious choice for those buyers looking in that area, make sure you check out my seller's guide down in the description below. And if you have any questions on buying or selling a home, you can reach me through my contacts, my phone number, and email address, which will be on the screen now. And thanks for watching this market update for Fargo here in the month of June as we look forward to the rest of the summer.